What is up, everybody? So my name is Sandy. I'm an Olympic medalist in the pole vault, but I am also a huge plant and animal fanatic. And today I'm going to be showing you how to make a planted terrarium. My buddy Gordon here is going to get a brand new planted terrarium, and we're going to upgrade his current habitat because it's just about time, man, isn't it? I know. So stay tuned because we're going to get into it real quick. The first order of business is going to be completely cleaning out his current terrarium. I'm going to be using the same cage, but we're just going to make it a live planted tank. I can't wait. The first order of business is getting the cage really clean. I like to use a hydrogen peroxide water mixture. While that sets for a second, I will show you what you're gonna need. First, you're gonna need gardening charcoal. That's what I'm gonna use. And also, of course, your terrarium plants, and make sure when you go to purchase the plants, you Google the name to make sure they are not toxic. Also, some organic potting soil. I'm gonna use this, Happy Frog. And some sphagnum moss. And I'm gonna use forest floor bedding for the very top surface layer, which is really just for aesthetics. Oh, I almost forgot, you also need landscaping cloth. And don't mind all of that. That's all of his old stuff from his cage that's gonna get replaced. So, to repeat that, we've got charcoal, organic potting soil, forest floor bedding, sphagnum moss, and landscaping mesh. Okay, all clean and ready for our substrate. I am gonna do a little bit of researching and figure out if there's something I can do to get this off of the glass that's from just spraying water in the habitat over the last couple of years. So I'll get back to you on that. The very first layer is going to be my gardening charcoal. I'm gonna go put this in a colander and rinse it out because the charcoal will have a lot of dust and black, just a lot of black dust. So I'm gonna go rinse it out. And I wanna mention that you can also do a layer of pebbles, like small terrarium pebbles, but ultimately this kind of does the same thing, and the charcoal actually will filter any water that sits at the bottom. So if you wanna be extra safe, you can do a layer of, I would say, pebbles first, and then this, and then the landscaping mesh, but we'll get to that in a minute. Let me go rinse. Okay, I rinsed it. As you can see, look at all that black debris. You want to get as much of that out as you can, but it's not the end of the world. It's not going to hurt anything, really. It's just dusty if you don't at least wet it down. Your next order of business is your layer over the charcoal, which I've only got maybe 1/4 inch of charcoal in the bottom of this, but the depth of the waterproof part of this cage is only maybe 3 inches, so I don't have much to work with here. So just a thin layer of the charcoal at the bottom, and then now I'm gonna cut this mesh, the landscaping cloth, to fit the bottom. Now the trick here is it's better for it to be a little bit too big rather than a little too small, because the purpose of the mesh is to kind of hold the top substrate above the bottom layer, which is really supposed to be where the water is sitting. Now that our cloth is fitted to the bottom here, there you go. Now that our cloth is fitted to the bottom here, it's time for the next step, which is your organic potting soil. Ta-da! You can't see it. So we got our charcoal cloth. See, I've only got this much room to work with, so that's not much. Here comes the potting soil. This is a brand new thing. Now what you can do if you don't want any bugs or anything in there, you can actually bake potting soil. I kid you not. You have to put it in multiple cookie trays or whatever and put it in the oven at probably 300 degrees for like, I'd say an hour. Okay, just kidding. We're gonna take some of this back out. You are now inside of the cage. Blech, can't talk. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to arrange this little guy. Okay, the sun is going down outside, so I'm gonna make this fast because we are losing our light, all right? So what I also need to make sure I arrange before I plant the plants is where I'm gonna put his sticks. I would say the most important stick is this one. I'm gonna take the fake foliage off of this. I'm not gonna put a background on this because as you can see, it gets a lot of natural light from these windows right here. And that's why my live plants are able to survive in his terrarium. I don't have any lighting on his terrarium. So if you have a terrarium for your reptile that is in a room that does not get natural light, please make sure you research what lighting to use for these plants and for your reptile. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is add just a little layer of this forest floor. Now, I wanna clarify something. This I am just calling a planted tank. This is not what is called a bioactive tank. A bioactive tank is more complicated than this. And a bioactive tank is gonna be an actual ecosystem where you have to put in isopods and certain little insects that are gonna eat the feces of your reptile. And this is not, I'm not claiming that this is bioactive. This is just planted, right? So I plan to, sorry, I was shaking that. I plan to change this topsoil probably every couple of months because there are not gonna be any insects in there that can eat the feces. So you still have to clean it. This is his favorite little hidey house, his little coconut. And I'm gonna spray down this sphagnum moss and put it inside of his little hidey rock. He'll love that. Cresties love that. I'll do you one better. Distilled water is probably the way to go with any terrarium. I'm gonna get this sphagnum moss nice and wet here. And then I'm gonna squeeze out the excess. I'm dumping it right in the cage because, as I said, these plants need a little bit of water anyway, so I'm just gonna double up. Okay, sphagnum moss, soil. Now to just give the plants a final water. You know what you could also do if the depth of your tank is not enough? You could just leave plants in pots and just set them down and then put soil around the pots. It'll look just as cool, and then you can take them out and move them more easily. Ah, it just looks so good in here. I can't even. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a little fishing string or fishing wire, and I'm gonna tie them in cool little places. But for right now, I'll just stick them just like that. Okay, your new cage is ready, bud. Come on. Ah, I'm so excited. I am very proud of my work, if I don't say so myself. You gonna be happy in here? I think you will. I think it turned out really awesome. So cool. Thank you so much for joining me on one of my random animal adventures, and I will see you next time. That is the next time I am doing something with my plants and animals that I feel like sharing with the world. Bye, y'all.